Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the TFL Road Test. This week, we're testing the 2019 Nissan Kicks, and in this video, we're going to put it through our series of performance tests. So it's going to do a 0 to 60 acceleration test, a 60 to 0 braking test, a road noise test, and of course, a turning circle test. But this time, it's going to be a little bit different. Instead of scoring the vehicle ourselves, what we want to do is we're just going to give you guys the raw scores for the 0 to 60 and 60 to 0 braking tests. We're using this piece of technology called a V-Box. This is a GPS telemetrics device. So this hooks up to some satellites up in outer space, and it calculates our speed. It can tell us how fast we're going 0 to 60, how many feet it takes to go from 60 to 0, and it displays all that information on this iPhone. So this hooks up through Bluetooth, and I know it may look like we're just using the iPhone to do all the testing, but really it's the V-Box that's collecting all the data. It's just transmitting that data to the iPhone so we can see it. Really fast, we are going to make sure the tires are set to the correct manufacturer suggested pressure. That is 32 PSI, both front and rear, according to the door card inside this Nissan Kicks. We have our little handy dandy pressure gauge. I'm going to do the dust cover. Drop the dust cover. 32 on the first tire, let's check the other ones. 32 PSI at all four corners, just how Nissan recommends it. It's a performance test. Let's talk about the engine performance. So this is a naturally aspirated 1.6 liter four cylinder that makes 125 horsepower and 115 pound-feet of torque. At least that's at sea level. Now this sends its power only to the front wheels. The Kicks is only available in front wheel drive through, like most Nissans, a CVT, a continuously variable transmission. So the first test is a 0 to 60 acceleration run. We use the V-Box to calculate the 0 to 60 time, and we do the test 4 times to make sure you get a good average score for the 0 to 60 time. Ready, go. Oh yeah. Not super fast. We're off. Did we even hit 60? Oh, we went far off the track, but we did hit 60 miles an hour. 12.23 on the first run. 12.23. Okay, so note to self, give more room next time. .58 for run number 2. 12.83 seconds on the third run. Okay, the last run, 12.78 seconds. So we are in the high 12-second range. From these 4 runs, the average 0 to 60 time comes out to 12.61 seconds. This is one of the slowest times we've ever tested. The Mitsubishi Outlander Sport made it in 10.82 seconds, almost 2 seconds faster, but on to braking. Weather is important when you're doing performance testing, so really quickly, here are the current weather conditions in Decano, Colorado. We're using weather.com to find this information. Right now, it is 39 degrees outside with winds from the northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Now the 60 to 0 is similar. We also use the V-Box for that, but we only run it 3 times because we don't want to overheat the brakes, and we give them a little half lap in between each test to make sure the brakes have time to cool off a little bit. Once again, we take the average distance from the 3 60 to 0 braking runs.
Did not record a result.
In order for the V-Box to record a 60 to 0 braking distance, you have to exceed 60 miles per hour by about 3 to 5 miles per hour. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough space on our test track to get up to a high enough speed for the V-Box to successfully record a braking test. Take a look at the 0 to 60 times that we tested earlier, and you see the maximum speed we hit was barely over 60 miles per hour before we ran out of track space. So we went to a nearby dead-end frontage road with almost no traffic, and we did the test there instead.
So let's go and see how it goes. Test number 1, 128.46 feet. All right, result number 2, 127.09. Third and final result for the Nissan Kicks. Ooh, better yet, 125.5.
The average of those 3 runs totals 127.03 feet, just a couple feet further than the Mitsubishi Outlander Sport we tested previously. That got 125.2 feet. The next test is, of course, the decibel meter test. So we have this little decibel meter. We drive on the same stretch of road. We set it to its max function, and we look for the peak sound level inside the car going 60 miles an hour on the highway.
Okay, there's 60. .4 decibels. That's not too bad. Like I said, most luxury cars, the Lexus we tested on the last episode, that is about 60, 62 maybe. So 66 isn't too bad. It seems like there's a fair amount of wind noise in here.
And last but not least, we have the turning circle test. So we start with the car, cone on the passenger side, front wheel, crank the wheel all the way to the left, and we turn in a series of 90-degree turns until we've completed a full circle. We'll place cones at every 90-degree point, and then you measure the distance between the cones to find the average turning circle distance. It's nice and tight, Andre.
Okay, got it.
Okay, ooh, this is good. Now this tape measures in tenths. So we are at 34.1. Fortunately, our test worked out well, and we ended up with the same measurement for both pairs of cones. 34.1 feet is the average turning distance, the tightest circle we've tested to date. Here is how the Nissan Kicks compares. There you go, guys. That concludes the 3rd ever TFL road test for the Fastlane car. I'm Mike Curtis. Thank you guys so much for watching. And like I said in the previous episodes, this show is really meant to help you guys see how these cars perform up here at a mile above sea level. If you have suggestions or changes that you think we should make to our testing procedures, please drop us a comment and let us know. Again, we're trying to keep this updated, and we're trying to keep you guys involved to make sure that you think we're doing the test the right way. We'll see you guys next time.